But I can turn it back on.
That's okay. You can leave it. Did you stop it?
No.
Okay. So, can they hear us?
I hope so.
Okay. I have a shiny thing on my forehead. That needs to not happen. Okay. So, God, you do this.
I can't ask these questions.
Okay, you guys. So we just made a video, just saying, and we are not gonna use it because I look like shit. So, here are some questions you guys have been asking me, and this is my girlfriend, Melanie. And you know me, I'm Dominic, obviously. The man. The cool man. Okay, so the first one is, what's your sexual identity? What do you identify as? Right now.
I would call myself pansexual, and I have for a long time. And I am attracted to girls and guys, and it doesn't matter to me what you have, like, I don't know.
Parts?
What parts you have, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to, like,
People
in general.
Yeah, me too. I'm in the same boat. I already told you guys, I'm cool with dating guys. I'm cool with girls. I don't care.
This is like a tangent away from maybe what we're specifically going to talk about, but I feel like, I don't know.
What?
Like, I want to say that it's, like, when people identify as pansexual, a lot of times there's, like, misconceptions about that, meaning that, like, you just like everyone and you're, like, really promiscuous and, like,
yeah,
anyone you see you're attracted to. Like, it's not like that. I mean, it's basically, like, I just don't want to say bisexual because I feel like I don't want to split the world up into two groups, because there are a lot of people who don't fall, like, evenly into male or female. And I'm attracted to anybody, but not everybody. I
Just
don't know.
me right now.
Yes, only you.
Yay. Should we kiss for the camera?
No.
Oh.
Let's just...
There you go. I had to do one.
Okay.
Okay. How did you react when I first told you I was trans? This was when we were 15, so, and we're in our 20s now, but haven't always been together throughout those years. I'll explain it later. Anyways, go ahead.
How did I react? I feel like I'm repeating myself now.
We are. It's okay. That's how videos go.
I was shocked, and
I was scared to tell her. Terrified. First girl.
But I don't feel like I had any, like, negative feelings. I was just really curious, and I had a lot of questions come into my head really fast.
Like,
what kind of parts do you have, and, like, how long have you been, like, living as a male, and, like, I can't remember now, because I feel like I understand it so well, so I don't remember what I didn't understand, but I didn't, know anything, and I wanted to be really careful about not, like, seeming rude by asking a bunch of questions, and, like, that's a, personal thing to talk about, so I wanted to use, like, a lot of tact and not embarrass him, and not make him feel like he was, like, this super different, weird kind of, like, I don't know, creature.
This is how it went. We were laying in bed, and, what happened? I was saying, like, I gotta tell you something.
Like 8 years ago now. I can barely remember.
I was just like, I gotta tell you something, and like, what is it? And I was like, I'm afraid to tell you, blah, 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 the whole spiel. It took forever for her to scoop it out of me, and then finally, basically, I was like, so I was born different, and you're like, how? And then I said I was born like you, with what you got, kind of situation, and she's like, okay. That's basically what she said. She's like, okay, like, she looked pretty shocked, but she also didn't really pull away from me because we were laying down. And so I could tell, like, she just needed a minute or something. And then you actually sat up or something. You were just kind of quiet. And then you asked me, like, what's down there or something. And I said, what you got going on, kind of thing. And then you're like, okay. And then she was really quiet for a while. She didn't really ask me anything. And then I was like, are you alright? And you're like, yeah, I just need a minute or something. And then went to the park. and then you were fine. The walk to the park was awkward.
I feel like I had thoughts too at that point that I didn't really talk to you about, and that I don't want to talk about on here because they're personal. But I've had another person in my life who I knew who was transgendered, and that was a really different situation and affected people that I'm close with differently because of who he was, and not because he was transgendered, but
The person
he was because of the person he was. So I think that weighed a lot on my head too, and was part of the reason why I was kind of like, I don't know, quiet.
Yeah, probably didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
Yeah. She took it really well. But it was awkward for me for a little while. Like, I didn't know how she was feeling. I didn't know if she hated me. I didn't know if she just thought I was a girl right then and there. I didn't know any of that stuff. And we had to talk about it later. But she just needed a minute. So everyone's going to be kind of shocked when you tell them. Like, wouldn't you be shocked? I'm shocked when I hear that stuff. Okay. Oh yeah, how did you see me after I told you?
I mostly saw you the same. I started to like notice little things that like seemed feminine that I hadn't given any thought to before. But like I didn't think anything of them, like I wasn't turned off by them or like frustrated about it. I just would kind of be like, oh, that's why that's like that or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And mostly I've always just seen you as a guy. So it wasn't like all of a sudden you just looked like this mishmash of genders to me. You still looked the same.
Yeah.
And seemed the same.
That's cool. I'm sure lots of guys are worried about that, telling girls. Like, if the girl afterwards, they know that they're just going to see a girl.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like if you tell them before they get to know you, that could happen.
Yeah.
I really do. But if you tell them after they've known you, after they've met you and talked to you and known you as male, and then you tell them, first impressions like stick. I don't even know how to say it. They're just going to see you always that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Okay. How did you feel about sex before we did it? There should be a haha sign for that.
I didn't put any thought into like that part of it. Like, for me, it was my first time ever, so I was a lot more in my head about just the whole thing in general and like what it was going to be like. And probably because I was so young and didn't have as good of self-esteem, was just like a lot more preoccupied about how I felt about myself and my body and not his. So I don't remember thinking about it or it bothering me or I don't know.
Yeah, I was kind of worried from my side that she wasn't gonna see it as sex. Certain things you do, other people don't consider sex. I was afraid that in the middle of it she would get scared and maybe want to stop because she would think that she was having sex as a girl. I was afraid that she wouldn't consider it taking her virginity kind of thing. That was like a big thing for me. Like it was special to me. I didn't want her to feel like it wasn't real because I wasn't bio-male kind of thing. And I was afraid I wasn't gonna perform right or whatever because she was a virgin and had never, you know, all that stuff.
I just totally forgot what I was gonna say about what you just said. Oh, I did consider it like sex, and I did feel like I'd lost my virginity. I didn't even question it. It wasn't like, well, was that real? Did that count? Like, I didn't feel like that at all.
Okay, moving on. Oh, and then after, like, still saw me as a guy. Wasn't weird.
Mm-mm.
No. After initially.
Uh-uh.
What did I say upstairs about? Oh yeah, that most girls don't really care. Like, you think that when you're having sex that they just see your stuff or your parts and that's all they see, but they're really just seeing you and pleasing you and like sharing that with you. Mostly that's how I feel like how it's been. So don't just think they're just focused on what you got going on down there. It's not true. They're just focused on the act and everything.
That's like the same for anything. Like, you just always have to remember that when you're having sex with a person, like, they're probably thinking a lot more about themselves and worrying about what they're doing than they are, like, thinking about analyzing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. If someone's having sex with you, they want to have sex.
yeah.
They're not trying to, like,
It's
dissect
like-
you or anything.
And it's nerve-wracking for anybody, no matter what gender you are or what parts you have. Like, I don't know.
I feel like I should mention this part. About here, I'm off limits, kind of, with her. Anyone. No one gets to touch this until I go to Florida to have a chest surgery. Because I don't like it. It makes me feel weird. But she doesn't care, even if I was okay with it. She doesn't care, but I do.
So you just, like, every individual relationship, you just need to talk about what your boundaries are.
Talk about all that stuff.
And respect the boundaries. Like,
With the
I don't
name
know.
calling thing, how you refer to
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
You need to talk about it, like,
What you want to...
what do you want me to refer to? Instead of just calling it that out of natural stuff, just, like, ask. Because we're really sensitive about that. Because, like, we already know what it is. We don't want to hear it. You know, like... And what was the other thing? Penetration and stuff. Like, you need to ask before you do that. You know, because, like, I'm cool with that. I wasn't before when we were younger, wasn't I?
Mm-mm.
Not at all.
No, that was...
That was no.
No.
Big no-no. But now I'm like, hey, I don't care. So, you need to ask people stuff. How is dating a trans guy different than dating a biological male or a female?
I've never dated a female. So, I don't know about that. But, it's not really different to me. Like, everyone has their own personality, and no two guys I've ever been with have been the same person. But I don't feel like it's based on gender or sex. I think it's just like...
I know how cramps feel. That's different, I guess.
If there's one thing, yeah, that's different, it's that he can relate to me on my period. Which I guess is cool. Because he has been more, like, sympathetic than most guys.
Yeah. Can I get you a medal, Mr.
But, I don't know. I personally have always tended to date kind of sensitive guys and guys who like to talk and be open. So Dominic's that way, but I don't necessarily think like, oh, he's more talkative or more open because of that. It's just like, that's
And there's
the
some
kind of
trans
people
guys
I
that are
find.
a-holes.
Mm-hmm.
There are some trans guys that are really not sensitive. Like, they're overly not sensitive to compensate for them feeling that way. Does that make sense?
For feeling...
For feeling like they are
Not
not
masculine.
masculine enough.
Yeah.
You know, like, I embrace my feminine side. I watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and I am so proud. If you guys know who that is, then I love you.
They know.
They know who that is. They have to know. And I don't care. And she doesn't care. Like, I talk about that stuff, and I mean, my sense of humor's kind of gay sometimes, and she doesn't care. I'm just myself.
How can a sense of
whatever.
humor be gay?
I don't know.
I feel like you need to be careful about your
okay.
terminology.
You're okay.
here.
You're right. I get a little flamboyant when I'm
That's better.
when I'm watching RuPaul and stuff.
But a lot of guys I've been with have been flamboyant who were
Not all
like
the time.
straight biological males.
Yeah.
So
So it's like normal.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think like, oh, he's like that because he was born female.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So that's cool. I can be that way. How did your family react? Oh, this question's cool. I like swimming suits. I need to go around you.
Don't bounce the bed, it makes the camera bounce.
Sorry. Okay. That's better.
I told my mom first, and my mom and I have always had a really close and open relationship, and we've been able to talk about anything. So that was easy, and she reacted kind of the same as I did. Like, she was shocked, and she just had like a bunch of questions. We're just curious people, I guess.
Her questions were like
what kinds of parts you had. Mostly, like I said before, because I was so young and I had just become sexually active for the first time, she was almost happy in a way to find out that that meant I couldn't get pregnant. So she was fine with it, and has always been. And supportive too. She's supportive. I feel like she's more than okay with it. She's
embraced it.
Yeah. And when I told my dad, that was later, after we'd been together for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little different.
Because of the personal thing.
Because of personal things in my dad's life that maybe affected his views, but he wasn't like upset about it. He just wasn't like...
He was worried. Yeah.
He was worried. He was worried. Like, he talked to me about being cautious about like who I told, and I mean, and you do have to have some caution, because there are a lot of people out there who have really strong negative feelings about it, and they will, you know, feel, there are people who will be hostile towards you because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just, you know, you have to have some like reservations. But I don't know, he was worried that like people at school, because I was in high school when I told him, he was worried that people might find out and think I was a lesbian, or think that I was weird, or judge me, and I wasn't afraid of that at all.
Even though it didn't happen.
Yeah, that never happened. But even if people had found out, like, I was completely comfortable with people knowing that I was like.
I wasn't out in high school, was I?
Mm-mm.
No, just told a couple.
Huh?
I told a couple people.
Yeah, just a couple people.
I wasn't out in high school, so that's totally different. I don't know anything about that part.
Yeah.
I was stealth all through high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, okay. What are some hard or difficult things about dating a trans man? I think just that what we were... Okay, that was a different video. Just me and, like, feeling self-conscious and...
Yeah, like, I want to be careful not to ever make him feel uncomfortable. But...
Like the names thing we're talking about, like, parts, respecting boundaries, calling body parts certain names, and, you know, obviously with us, there are certain things that we do that are kind of embarrassing, so
Embarrassing?
Yeah, like, it's embarrassing for me to take off my pants still to this day. It always will be, so, like...
I think that's way more personal, though. I think that has to do... I mean, everyone has, like, different confidence levels. Like, I feel embarrassed with... I don't know. I don't think that has anything to do with...
I think so. Like, you're exposing your stuff for the world to see, especially in the light. I'm just saying, like, if you're dating a trans guy and... don't just like rip off his pants. Like, you guys should talk about that stuff, and vice versa. Like, girls, for the most part, girls don't really care.
Cares about what? That's not true at all.
It's true for me.
No. I don't think that has anything to do with gender. Like, I mean, maybe in a way, because like, I don't want to get all feminist on here, but like. Obviously, there are higher expectations for how a girl's body should look in society than a guy's body.
Yeah.
So I think girls are generally more like, or less confident
Yeah.
than guys.
Yeah. I'm just saying for us, it's hard for us to take our pants off. That's all I'm saying. Like, it sucks. And it's always hard.
I don't know.
Even in the dark, it's hard. Even in the dark.
I feel like I don't feel like this should be included in the video.
I think
like
it should be.
Edit this out, huh?
No, we should leave it here. This is good. This is good.
No, because
Yeah.
I don't feel.
Every single guy I've talked to wants the lights off, and I just wanted to let them know that that's kind of normal. It could be normal for every human being on this planet, but it's just kind of normal. Like, it's not just like a because we don't trust you thing or whatever. Just for me and guys like me, it's hard to take off your pants. That's all I'm saying. And to get, you know,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I didn't say it. I was just talking now. Okay. It's hard to take off pants. Anyways, moving on. What? No. What's the end of it? There was some stuff at the end that we said. The last one. I'm having chest surgery in like a couple weeks. And she's gonna come with me, so she's being supportive, so that's good. It's very important for me to feel supported, I think. Because even though I'm older now and I'm more accepting of myself, the slightest little like feeling, if she's like uncomfortable, if I feel like that, then I immediately feel like something's wrong with me, or I'm just not good enough, kind of thing. I don't know, like it's important.
I don't think I've ever been uncomfortable about anything that has to do with your.
Yeah, you probably haven't. It's all in my head, you know. Just be sensitive, I guess, to everything. That's important. And talk about stuff, right? You talk about everything. Talk about everything.
Just like any relationship. You
Yeah.
have to do that.
And your dad still thinks of me as a guy and talks to me like that. I don't know. And your family's okay. Not every family will be okay. I've had some bad experiences with families, but you gotta choose wisely who you tell or whatever, I guess. I don't know. Oh yeah, that question I was saying. What would you tell some of the guys out there who haven't told their girlfriends yet that they're trans? What would you say to them?
I would say that, I don't know, if you really care about a person and you want a relationship to work with them, then you have to start being honest, like, as soon as possible, and you really should try to avoid ever lying about that. Like, if you don't talk about it right away, that's okay. Like, if you need time to get to know each other before you bring it up, that's understandable. But if you push it off too long and you lie about it, it's going to make it so much harder to, like, eventually do it. And you'll just build it up in your mind, and I don't know. So it's a good thing to get done, like, when you're starting out. Yeah. And if you have someone react in a negative way, like, then, I don't know, that's their problem, not yours. Like, I liked what you said about religion. Like, I don't know, if you told your girlfriend that you belong to a certain religion and she didn't accept that, like, then yeah, like, you don't want to be with them anyway. If they can't accept you and love you for who you are, then you don't want them in your life.
Yeah, and every girl's gonna react differently. Some might be like totally fine, like right from the beginning, and then ask questions way later. Some people might like be kind of shocked, like, okay, I need a minute, or some people might need a couple days or whatever, you know, to process. And like you said, it's mostly because they're not educated on the subject and they don't really know. They have all these like preconceived notions in their head.
Yeah, and you can't blame them really for not knowing or for being ignorant, because it's not like something that we really get a lot of education about.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like, you know, a hush-hush, like, taboo thing in society. So don't be angry at them if they need to ask a lot of questions to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't feel like that's them being nosy or, like,
Yeah.
insensitive, because the more they understand about, like, that in general,
Mm-hmm.
the better it'll be for your relationship.
And if you are, and if someone has told you that they are transgender, and you have no idea and you're going to ask them questions, be careful with your questions. Not like, don't be afraid to ask them anything, but be sensitive and,
Like, have tact.
yeah, be, yeah, how you present the questions and things like that. Just remember that, like, there are things about us that are hard to answer, but just the way you ask and stuff and the way we deliver is just really sensitive, the whole thing. So, but for the most part, I feel like we like to answer questions. It makes us feel understood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm speaking for, like, just people I know of that, and whatever, or have talked to. Anyways,
Is that everything?
I think.
Now we've made a 26-minute video.
Yay! Half an hour out of that. There was something else I forgot. There's always something else.
There's always something else, yeah.
There's always
Okay.
something. Okay, you can stop.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, now you okay. Oh wait, I have another question. No, wait, never mind. I forgot.